Hi, welcome to the Armed Guardian Podcast, Season 1, Episode 3. I'm your host, Brian. Today, David and I will be discussing the topics of everyday carry, loadout, prep, or go bag, and things that you might want to consider having in those situations. So sit back and listen today as we discuss these topics and just kind of give you a broad overview, and we will be breaking these down in a little bit more as future episodes. So enjoy your favorite drink or whatever you want to do while you're listening. We have decided to make Blackout Coffee as our official drink of the show. Look in the show notes for a special link and a coupon code to get a special discount, and visit the store and enjoy today's episode. Hi, welcome to the Armed Guardian Podcast. Today we got David and myself. We're going to be talking about everyday carry or your loadout. What should you carry every day? Going to discuss several topics, just kind of give a flyover on what we think your everyday carry should be and some things to consider when you're looking at them. And we'll have this episode, we'll break it down further into the topics individually later on. But just to kind of make sure whenever you do, we talk about in our classes of everyday carry, and we mentioned specifically making sure you've got a firearm that you're willing to carry that's not too heavy, that's not too bulky, that fits you right. And that's something that you should carry every day. Some of the things that we look for is position. Are we going to carry appendix, kidney, small of the back, 3 o'clock, how we're going to carry, and getting used to that carry position where we're not printing or drawing attention to how we're carrying, just basically getting comfortable doing that. And then you're going to have to exercise your draw habits and where you can smoothly and effectively get the pistol out on demand without fumbling for it. So that's pretty much what we look at for when we carry our weapon, our EDC everyday carry. And we'll also talk about a little bit of loadout, a go bag and some things like that a little bit later. But David, what are some things that you think of that when we talk about EDC, what comes to your mind?
Well, of course, carrying the proper weapon, or weapon that fits you well, whatever that may be. Could be a revolver, a semi-auto type of clothing, where the place where you live. I mean, if you live in a colder environment, you might be able to get away with carrying something a little bigger, and still being able to carry it concealed. If you live in the South where we live, not so easy. You might have to think smaller, but carrying a weapon that you're comfortable with, that you can conceal well or carry properly. Also, making sure you have spare magazine, speed loader, spare rounds in some way, shape, or form. I like to carry at least one spare magazine with me, 2 if possible, but at least one.
Right.
As far as gun accessories,
your lower capacity magazines, like your single stacks or your really subcompact pistols, where you are limited with your magazine carry or a magazine amount that you can carry, making sure that you've got enough ammo to endure the fight if you should have to encounter something.
Yes, sir. And also another thing that I think a lot of people don't think about, but it's crossed my mind several times on carrying. If you're carrying a semi-automatic, carrying a spare mag is if you have a jam. Sometimes the easiest way is just to reload, do a quick reload.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So you have that option. It gives you more tools in the toolbox as far as that goes to be able to recover from.
What are some other things that you think of when we talk about EDC?
Knives. It's good to have a good knife. Also, multi-tools are really great. I like, whatever Leatherman type multi-tools or Gerber. There's several different ones out there. Those are great. But knives, I mean, there's many different kinds of knives. Finding one that works well for you, whether it be a partially serrated,
right,
straight edge knife. There's so many knives out there. That would be something I think we could spend some time on at a future date.
Yeah, because you just got to be, what's your intention? Are you using it for a self-defense? Are you using it as a combined? Because there are some that have the glass break. Some of them have the seatbelt cutter on it. What's your intended carry? And that's something that really should consider whenever you are looking to carry a knife. And trying to dig in my pocket for what my everyday carry is. If we can kind of see it, it's the Smith and Wesson. It's got the um, glass break. It's got the seatbelt cutter. Got the belt clip, and then a locking blade, and it's partially serrated. So this is what my everyday carry knife is, and I strongly encourage everybody to carry one, just because sometimes you may not be able to get your pistol out, and the knife is going to be your close combat self-defense weapon that you are able to use until you're able to get that distance to draw your pistol. So that's my thought on knives and being able to carry them and considering them as a tool for your self-defense.
Yes, sir. And I actually prefer the straight edge knife. That's just my personal preference. Now I have some partially serrated too. I have, they work good for different purposes, but that's my everyday carry knife. And I also do carry a multi-tool most of the time, also with a knife,
Okay.
just for simple stuff like if
Right.
something goes wrong with your car or whatever. I found quite a use for it in the past. Um, Also, Mr. Brown, what do you think about flashlights? What's your
Uh,
take when
uh,
it comes, or what's your idea when it comes to flashlights? What do you really like?
I really like carrying a individual light, a real small, compact light, nothing real big. This one's about as big as the thumb, if you can see. It's got actually this little bezeled here that you can, kind of hard to show with the virtual thing, but background. But it's got the serrated pieces right here that you can actually use as an impact weapon, and it would actually, while you're attacking someone, it would apply some pressure points, but it also would possibly collect some DNA from if you had an attacker that was able to get away. Um, you got that, but I like keeping a external light. This one has that's a medium, that's a strobe, high, okay, high, low, and strobe. I got another one that does the high, low, and medium with the strobe, but having these and having it staged where what you need it for. I prefer having this instead of a weapon-mounted light for concealed carry, just because having a weapon-mounted light and using it for an potential attack, if you haven't identified an attack or a threat, and you pull your gun out and you're using the flashlight, you're violating one of the universal safety rules, and that opens you up for uh, possibly doing something wrong, attacking or pointing a gun at somebody without identifying the threat, and could put you in some legal problems. With this, you use your flashlight. If you identify a threat, you can two-handed grip the gun, or grip the gun with one hand, and depending on what flashlight hold you use, hold the flashlight with your other hand. Or if you use this, you identify a threat, and you're carrying a gun with a weapon-mounted flashlight or weapon-mounted light. You can just drop the flashlight and then activate your weapon-mounted light because you've identified a threat. But it's just something that for home defense, I would say a weapon-mounted light for me would be what I would use, but I wouldn't use it for concealed carry. Plus, you also have to consider the bulkiness, the added bulk that you've got to try to conceal and be comfortable with whenever you're carrying a weapon-mounted light, because some of them are a little awkward, a little bulky, and it makes it hard to, like I said, carry them and conceal them, because they'll poke, prod, stick you where you get uncomfortable and go from there as far as well, I don't want to wear this. I'm just running to the store, but because this flashlight's going to poke me, ride on me or something. So for concealed carry, I'm not. I won't say I'm not a fan. It's just not my preferred way of using a light. I would much rather have the individual flashlight and then use it in addition to the weapon with the flashlight hold. So, and I know some people that I'm going to have a flashlight on my weapon and I'm going to use it. And if that's you and that's your, you decide to carry like that, that's your choice and something that you have to be comfortable with. But you also have to look at the responsibility of if you pull the weapon on somebody and without identifying a threat or uh, recognizing that someone's not a threat, but you pointed the weapon with the flashlight on them, you possibly could be facing some legal challenges. And think about going to court and your attorney or the DA, they're already going to have your weapon for evidence. So they'll pull your weapon and they'll make it safe and everything. And they'll say, the the defendant pointed this gun at this person with this bright light, and I think that you're just opening yourself up for some legal challenges that will be hard to overcome. But there are some good lights out there for weapon-mounted lights. But again, I'm just for a home defense situation. That would be the only time I would for my nightstand or my home defense firearm, whether it be a shotgun, AR, or pistol, having a weapon-mounted light.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm like you. I like a simple flashlight, like what you said. The smaller ones are great for everyday carry. I mean, I have some bigger ones for other stuff, but those are by far the best for everyday carry, and they're a lot easier to carry than carrying a big one.
Right. Yeah.
So how about OC spray? Do you recommend OC spray?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Right to Bear is the leading self-defense legal protection you can count on if the moment comes to defend yourself or your families. Right to Bear provides the legal representation, expert witnesses, gun replacement, and even a 24-hour hotline for peace of mind exactly when you need it most. Sign up at protectwithbear.com and use promo code BTT to get 10% off. With Right to Bear, you'll never defend your freedoms alone again. Join now with the promo code BTT at protectwithbear.com.
Yeah, I carry OC spray every day. I've got it actually on a keychain, and it's a flip, or not a flip, it's a turn nozzle, and then you press it to deploy it. And this is a streaming spray. They make several different delivery methods. So what you decide you want to carry for the way that you carry and the environment that you carry in, you may not want to carry a mist or a fogger in a outdoor setting because the mist has potential of coming back on you, where in a different environment it would be acceptable. The stream is better for direct application, and that's pretty much what law enforcement officers use is the direct stream. But they do make foggers, foams, gels, and things like that, and each of them have their own place. And I recommend people, if they're interested in learning about OC or self-defense, take a class, which we offer one. I'm a Saber pepper spray instructor for civilian people, and you just get this, and you can carry sometimes pepper spray where maybe you can't carry a firearm, and it just gives you that added tool that you can use in a self-defense situation. Say you go into the post office. Legally, you can't carry a firearm inside postal property, but I don't know there's no law that I have ever found saying that you can't carry pepper spray in a post office. It just talks about firearms. So just having the alternative for self-defense in case you need it until you're able to escape or retrieve your weapon. That's something that you just I would recommend. And there's several different makers of pepper spray. There's Saber, Palm, several others, Mace brand that are out there. But just do your research on it. I law enforcement carries Saber, and that's what I've carried before in my career. And I'm not sure what you carried whenever you work the road, but it's something that I'm comfortable with that brand, and I've used it before, and I trust it. So it's just another option for you to have. I'd rather have options than get into a situation where my only use of self-defense is firing the weapon, where maybe I could have used pepper spray or other less lethal options that we're getting ready to talk about for self-defense. So any tool that I can have on me as a possibility, and there's no stepping stone as far as use of force, as far as if you carry these other less lethal options, whether it be a kubotan, pepper spray, a knife, or anything. You don't have to progress each step. If someone confronts you with what you feel is a deadly force, you have the right to counter that to stop that threat. And when the threat ends, of course, you have to back down. But there's nothing saying that, well, if you carry all this, you've got to try your knife first, try your OC, try your kubotan, try a taser, or anything like that. They're just tools. A mechanic has a big box of tools at the shop where you take your car to get worked on. Does he use every one of those tools on your car? No, they may not need that tool for that job that he's doing, but he's got the tools there in case he does need it. And that's the way that I see these other less lethal options that we have to work on our self-defense. And talking about some of the other less lethal options out there, mentioned kubotan. It's basically a small stick, about 8 to 12 inches long. It's usually on a keychain. I used to have one, but I don't have one currently. It's hard plastic. It's good for pain compliance, pressure point compliance, whether you do it on the earlobe, under the nose, the pressure point up underneath the jaw, to get somebody off of you. You can also use it to jab at somebody. It's just a good. Civilians don't necessarily carry batons like law enforcement, but it's a miniature baton for civilians, way that I look at it. You also have tasers and stun guns. Those are options too. I don't carry either of those, but I do carry the OC, the knife. I'll carry some sort of object, maybe not the actual kubotan brand, but I carry something with me at all times. That even a pen, the regular pen here, you can use that as your little kubotan to apply the pressure points and stuff like that. So just things to improvise, in case you haven't met the options for deadly force, but you've got somebody that's attacking you or threatening you, that you can present to stop or get away from an attack. And that's what we're looking to try to teach people, is if at any cost, avoid the situation. But if you can't, be prepared to do what it is, whether it's physical ground fighting, using a less lethal. Just get the training and stay on top of it, because that's some things that we can use and will potentially help us in court if we use those, and something were to get brought up that we were used excessive force. No, he used this less lethal force to stop the attack, instead of just pulling out his pistol and presenting it, or even firing at somebody, or firing and hitting somebody. So it's just some options, and like I said, it's like a mechanic at your car shop. They've got all these tools, but they don't necessarily have to use all the tools to work on your car. Your car may not, whatever your car's doing may not require that. So that's the way I kind of look at self-defense and that use of force threat continuum is that, we have tools available, but let's pick and choose what will work best for us in that position.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Anything
And
on
also,
that?
I think, yes, sir. I was going to say, I think that's well put. It's good to have, even though some, different people may or may not carry certain things, it's good to have several options, tools that we can use for different
Right.
scenarios. I think that's great. What about first aid kits? What
Well,
would you be your recommendation there?
I would encourage having multiple kits. They make belt kits, they make ankle kits for everyday carry, which typically include some sort of blood clotting gauze and a couple of chest seals and a tourniquet of some kind. Typically, in a gun environment, if you were to shoot somebody or it's one of your relatives, which in a self-defense encounter, you're not obligated to render first aid to that person, because if you do go after and offer first aid to that person or attempt to, then it could be construed that you're not afraid of that person. So now you going to help this person after they got shot, cut, or whatever. You negated your actions, so you were actually intimidating the person into the fight. From what I have gathered, which I'm not an attorney, so I suggest people consult with an attorney before they act on it. But that's just my thought process, and from my training, I would rather, for an attacker, not assist them, call medical, call 911 and report it and tell them that the person was shot, stabbed, injured. But you get out of Dodge and wait for the police to show up to deal with the situation. Having some sort of kit in your vehicle. How many times have you been traveling and witnessed an accident and not been able, not having a first aid kit? If you had a first aid kit, you might be able to stop and render some sort of Good Samaritan first aid until first responders get there. We encounter that all the time. See the bad accidents out there. Again, you're not obligated, but as a Good Samaritan, Georgia, you're covered under the Good Samaritan law, from what I understand, that you can assist even if you don't have, you're not an EMT or anything like that. You have some lessened liability because you're assisting in a emergency situation to try to save somebody's life or prevent serious injury from occurring. So just get first aid training, have a kit, keep it one in your vehicle, keep one or two in your house, have one if you're carrying close by, if you're not on your body whenever you're carrying. Like I said, they make them for belt, attached to the belt, your ankle. If you have a backpack or something, throw it in the backpack, attach it as a molly unit to your tactical bag or something. Just be prepared, have some good first aid training. We're not looking to make you certified as a first responder or EMT or anything, but have enough to stop the bleed, basically, sustain life. And the kids have, we all even offer a class where we talk about building your own kit and the need, what you would need for each situation. So just getting with somebody to help you build that kit is a good thing. Get good quality kit, first aid stuff. I would be leery of stuff you can get from Temu, Wish, and stuff like that, where it's maybe not regulated or not quality, being imported, but you've got good, sterile, safe, effective first aid gear that's tested and recognized that is a a good brand, that it's not going to apply a tourniquet and the tourniquet tear or rip because it's improperly made or poorly made. So just
so you can.
have that good first aid kit. What do you think? What are some other things other than concealed carry or traveling? Per se for an accident or something. What are some other things, David, that you think we should consider as far as our loadout or our everyday carry when we leave the house?
Well, I mean, talking about leaving the house for everyday carry. I mean, so of course, we've talked about some things you want to keep on your person, on your body, but there's also a sense of when we leave our house, we take some means of transportation. Most of us is cars or trucks or some sort of vehicle, SUV. I guess some people may ride motorcycles, but whatever it is, having things there that you can access. Maybe a spare toolkit,
Right.
bottles of water. Make sure your spare tires aired up.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the proper jack, whatever you may need to change a tire. You mentioned a first aid kit, carrying on your person, keeping one in your car.
Yeah.
In the winter months, we're coming into the winter now. Blankets, something to keep warm if your car broke down. There are many things like that for depending on where you're at.
Yeah. Carry
But
some
that would be one of my things, making sure.
some heat or cool weather related food substances, water and stuff like that. You don't have to get a big 40 bottle pack from Walmart to carry in the car. Just carry a couple bottles in a some sort of bag with some stuff like granola, something that would give you the energy to sustain you if you were stranded. Like years ago, when we had the freeze here in Georgia, especially up in North Georgia, cars were stranded on the interstate for uh, hours. I think there's some that were over 12 hours that they were stranded out there, and just having something that is life sustaining until people are able to get to you to assist you or get you out of that situation. Um, some things that you might want to consider, even the military surplus MREs or food storage containers, having those something that, because I know that they make some of those that are vehicle um, made specifically to store in the vehicle. So, those would help you whether you're stuck in a ice storm. You go up north or out west to the northwest where you're traveling in heavy snows and get snowed in somewhere. Um, it's got you. You'll survive for a period of time before and have stuff there to aid you in case that were to happen. Um,
Yes, sir. And then another thing I think is this is kind of more for um, at home, but as far as preparing for emergency, but you can even put it in the car. Having I have a little small stove, camp stove, takes
right.
a little propane cylinder, and also a lantern. It's
Mm,
been very helpful for me around the house and even going out places. But power goes out or something like that, I can access it and use it as I need to.
yeah, even
Um,
something else. We live in an electronic age. You may lose power, but you still may have cell phone service because a lot of cell phone towers will be backed up with getting you a little battery pack that is charged and ready to go in case you had power, so you can charge your cell phone for emergency calls and things like that. You don't want to use your phone consistently to be on Facebook or a lot of stuff, because in a true emergency situation, you're looking to sustain and limit your be prepared to endure for the long haul in case you need it. So, you know, keeping your phone charged or something for phone calls or for checking the weather or emergency things, emergency alert stuff. Good old high capacity battery surplus charging thing would be great to have and to keep charged up. So extra batteries for
Yes, sir.
your flashlights. If you have, like with this tactical one, this is a lithium 123 battery. Having a couple of those just in case you needed it to, and the battery started dying. You've got extra batteries there. You just throw in and keep using. Um, so,
Yes, sir. And I agree. And I should keep. I normally buy the big packs of the AAA and then the ones you're talking about right there,
right.
because those are some of the, and then the CR2032s. Those are some of the batteries that I use the most.
Yeah.
Used to be the AA's, but it seems like a lot more stuff's going to other style batteries. But I mean, I still keep some of the AA's on
Right.
on. But yeah, the charging. I mean, with this last storm that came through here, I actually really thought about that. That's something we oftentimes do take for granted. And I guess we'd go charge our phones and our cars, but those little charging things would be in our age, it's hard
Yeah.
to do much without our phones or computers or other devices.
Right.
And so absolutely.
And even in a home setting, I've got a actual gas powered generator keeping, safely stored gas and the generator to where you can pull it out. Of course, you don't want to bring the generator in the home. You don't want it really right up against the home, but you've got a gas powered generator that will provide electricity for some of your cooking needs, lights, little things like that. That will help sustain you as well in a
and even to
hurricane
power
situation.
your well pump if you need
Yeah,
it or something like that. I mean, if you needed
if you're not
you
on
know,
city water or someplace that has forced water, uh, out in the county, you gotta supply power to that well unless you have a manual uh, a pump where you
yes, sir.
can work. Which I know some people that still have those as emergency means, and it's just something that people don't have gotten away from. They've gotten lax and convenient with the things that are available out there today, and kind of losing a little bit of touch to preparedness and what happens if X happens. So just thinking ahead, being prepared, and that's something that I know we're working on trying to get accomplished, where we can kind of build a class to help educate people to be prepared. And I think that's something that it's probably not going to be a big demand per class, but I think that if we don't offer that, we're doing a disservice to the people that we talk about wanting to educate, train, and prepare for life, death, self-defense, life preservation. And it's something that I think that will be beneficial, but it's just one of those niche subjects that not everybody's going to be interested in, but there are going to be people out there that are interested in it. Anything else that you can think of on this topic of everyday carry or loadout gear for an emergency, whether you have to keep it in the vehicle, the house, or in case you ever got where you ran out of the house and had to relocate temporarily? Got anything else that you can think of?
No, sir, not at this time. We've covered a pretty big range of things, which I think's great. I think, matter of fact, I think some of these things we can discuss even more in depth. But for a general idea on it, I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah, I think it's what the podcast that I intended whenever I envisioned it and started coming up with it, and then it sparked your interest too. I think you caught the idea of what I was doing. That hey, let's throw some knowledge out there, throw some ideas out there that people may not think about, or maybe they haven't thought of. They've heard it before, or heard it talked about, but let's give them a little bit more meat to kind of get them thinking where hey, they can take care of themselves or their family should something ever really hit the fan, or things get really bad. in life, the world. So just we talked about other preparedness things in your go bag. If you were to ever have to leave your house, say your house got destroyed, a tent for you and your family. Keeping if you just you and a wife, or just you by yourself, keeping a little small 2-man tent that you can pop up somewhere to give you shelter. Just things like that to consider. So, well, that pretty much covers the topic that we wanted to carry today. Just kind of get people thinking about everyday carry and preparedness, emergency preparedness, I guess is the best way to tag it, as things to think about that maybe you haven't thought about in a while. Things are getting, we're in the hurricane season right now. We've had one that just skirted us. Luckily it was a very low. I think it was actually downgrading as a tropical storm as it passed us, but some places got hit pretty hard close to us, and that's when people think, "Oh my gosh, what, what would we have done?" Well, that's not the time to be thinking about that. You should have thought about that ahead of time, beforehand, and just getting people the information that they can kind of be prepared. So, um, yeah, I think we're doing a good service on what we intended, giving the people knowledge and their information. So, anything else you want to add before we sign off here, David?
No, sir. I think we've got it covered.
All right. Well, this is our off week podcast from a guest. We just let everybody know we have a big list of people that are coming on that we've confirmed, and we're in the process of getting those episodes recorded. We recorded one this morning um, on revolvers, and are they still a valid thing for concealed carry? And we even talked about some other things other than revolvers. So I'm excited about that. We've got one coming up this Saturday that we're going to be recording. So we're building our guest list and our podcast. So just stay tuned, listen up. If you have any ideas, feel free to email us at podcast@blueberrytactical.com. If you got an idea, topic, or want some more information, me or David will be more than happy to reach out to you via phone, email, to discuss something, maybe help you accomplish what you need to do, give you some advice. So just like our podcast, we're on all the major podcast hosts. Leave us a 5-star review. If we're doing something that you like, great. We even accept constructive criticism. That helps us grow as instructors, as presenters, and feel free to share and tell your friends about our podcast. And it's not always going to be necessarily firearms. Some of it's going to be training topics like situational awareness, emergency preparedness. So just enjoy, listen to us, and hope you get some educational content from it. Anything else, David?
No, sir.
All right. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Again, thank you for listening to the Armed Guardian podcast. Remember to learn, train, and survive. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the podcast publisher, its affiliates, or any other entity. The information contained in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as medical, legal, or financial advice. The podcast publisher and its affiliates assume no responsibility for any liability, loss, or damage caused by the use of information contained in this podcast. Listeners are advised to consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions based on the information contained in this podcast. Hi, this is Brian, host of the Armed Guardian podcast and owner of Blueberry Tactical and Training. While we were looking to find a official drink for both the company and the podcast, we searched for several different types of drinks, and we have come to find Blackout Coffee is a drink that we can put our trust into. It's a coffee with values. It's coffee that's more than just a coffee company. They're a purpose-driven company that acknowledges the people and the traditions that make our country great. They're known for supporting the traditional American values, military, first responders, and hardworking people all across America. Blackout Coffee was founded on the principles of conservative values. The founders believe in the importance of hard work, personal responsibility, family, respect, and traditional American values. So, Armed Guardian Podcast and Blueberry Tactical are proud to make Blackout Coffee our official drink for the podcast and our business. So, in the link below in our show notes, if you don't mind visiting, check out them. They also have teas and cocos that are available if you prefer those, but check them out. There's a link in the show notes, and there's also a coupon code for 10% off your first order. So check out Blackout Coffee and enjoy their drink.